Anthem. 3, 2, 1. Oh, say. We hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the wildest
Welcome everyone to the Vegas Shoot 2022 as we are back to Vegas from the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. We are setting the stage for some outstanding shooting at the end of this spectacular tournament. Now to Bruce Cull, president of the NFAA.
We are so excited to have the Vegas Shoot again. We are back to Vegas in 2022. This is the Vegas Shoot.
And I'm Greg White, sitting alongside three-time Vegas Shoot champion Rio Wild. And Rio, we are in for a treat. Tons of archery coming up.
A ton. There's some great shooters, and they've been working hard for the last 3 days to get here.
Third place will be determined by the highest total score.
So we have quite a list of archery coming up. We're going to start it off with the young adult category in our championship divisions, where there are 8 championship divisions. Of the 35 different categories you can shoot here at the Vegas Shoot, obviously, Rio, the majority of those being amateur divisions, but we do have these championship classes, which are the premier classes, the ones that pay out the most amount of money. And some have been decided already. On the recurve side of things, on the male, it was Brady Ellison who took victory. On the female side, it was Casey Kaufhold from the United States who took victory. And we have others to be decided. The first shoot we have coming up is going to be the young adult. Not for the win. That was decided by Dewey Hathaway from Massachusetts, but there's going to be a shoot-off for second and third place. On the senior side, we have a shoot-off for first place. And on the championship women's, all top 3 women are shooting for the win, and they all shot perfect 900s today.
Yep, all 3 of them, and that's cool because it's like the women are getting more and more instead of one person shooting 900 and winning. It's really cool to see that group advance. And well, let's be honest, every one of them have shot a 900 here before.
They certainly have, and every one of those have won it before. And then, of course, we're going to get to the main show. 22 archers in the open division shot perfect 900 scores. And then we have a lucky dog. Coming out, this is the young man I mentioned. That's Dewey Hathaway. He's your champion in the compound young adult. Dewey Hathaway was able to shoot a 299 out of 300 in day 1. He cleaned it on Saturday with 300, and then again today only dropped 1 point for an 898 with 65X.
And he's feeling a little better. He don't have the pressure that the others have. He gets to sit and watch.
Yeah. All right, so this is currently sitting in 4th place, Brady Myers out of Pennsylvania. So he gets to shake the hand of the champion. Jacob Merkel's behind him in the Hoyt jersey. And then our second place shooter was the young Nathan Zimmerman out of Illinois. And these shooters, they all tied Rio at 897 apiece. Zimmerman had 67 X's, Merkel had 66, and Myers 65.
All within 2 X's. I mean, it's just a hair bobble that can be the difference in missing that penny-sized X. So, I mean, they all shot very similar for the weekend.
Yeah, and the shooter on your left, Zimmerman, I was actually shooting with the compound young adults 2 days ago, and he was absolutely on fire, and then just had that one typical, just kind of a little dip bang and missed it. Not a strong shot. And the thing that impressed me about all these young shooters being around them is how composed they are when things don't go perfect. You know, they really, there's a lot of experience, even though this is the championship compound young adult category, there's plenty of experience. What are they doing right now, Rio?
They're trying to find a spot that they like on the target. They'll look for holes to make sure they're not in too big a one, because if they get too big a hole, it could kick. And right now, the thing you want is your arrow to go in straight and to score is where it's hit. So it's a little look, some guys like it a little higher, some like a little lower. It's kind of in those avenues is what they're trying to figure out their sweet spot.
So, and keep in mind, this is championship compound young adult, so under 18 years old for this category, so still a lot of exuberance, and it's kind of interesting how they get the experience of coming out of the big stage. I mean, the stands behind us are completely packed, and this is shooting for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. And you can see, just looking at the target faces, that they're not all, well, they're pretty close to being the same height, but
almost identical. Really look at them from the monitor here.
All right, so in this particular shoot, what we're going to do in this one is all 3 of these shooters are going to shoot at the same time. They're going to get to practice. Now this is 20 yards, just a little bit longer than 18 meters downrange. They're shooting at a what size target face?
It's I believe a 40 centimeter face. It's got the 10 ring is probably, just to give you a reference, maybe the size of a silver dollar. And the inside X ring is about the size of a penny. So at 20 yards, that is not real big. And when you're putting the kind of pressure of all the people in the crowd, it definitely makes it hard to hit.
The future of archery in the United States. Looking at all 3 of these archers, just looking at their anchor points and how steady they're standing. What are you seeing, Rio?
A lot of good form. I mean, you're talking about 3 young guys that, I mean, let's be honest, they shot well all weekend, so they've got some good stuff going on. And it looks really good. They all seem to be handling it really well. I mean, it is practice, so you can somewhat relax, but you're still out here in front of thousands of people that it's going to add to your nerves and add to where you're at. I always used to, when I get out there and I do the first end of practice, it's like, well, let's try what we got to do to hit the middle, because then the next ones matter.
Why is it so important to get a practice end in this venue?
Because you're going from a totally different lighting. Out here, you're kind of focal on with the spotlights and the other things in that way, where you've come from a room that has, it's all white light and bright inside, just like as you're shooting outside in the daylight. So you can get different impacts by looking through your peep and how the light hits your eyes. So you want to make sure that it's a fair shake to get you in here and let you see the differences.
You can see the camaraderie as these shooters shoot together often. But this is the big stage. This is Vegas. This is where they all come together. Illinois, New York, and Pennsylvania coming together to shoot. You saw a couple of the shooters repairing holes, which is legal here in NFA competition. They can pull their target and kind of repair the hole. So let's get to it. The first official scoring end of the championship compound young adult, the battle for the podium between Nathan Zimmerman, Jacob Merkel, and Bradley Myers. This is where all the nerves are, Rio.
Oh, it just adds up so much in such a hurry from going from practice to this. I mean, and now you focus on, and they seem not to be bothered, but all of them seem to be hitting the middle. And they've got up quick. None of them you saw, no hesitation. Yeah, that's awesome. Just
getting after it. This also gives us, all right, so Nathan Zimmerman decided to let down. That's plenty of time. There's total of 2 minutes, 120 seconds that these archers have to execute those 3 shots. Ooh, it looks like Myers might be out there.
Yeah.
For Zimmerman.
That one didn't look great, but it caught.
It did. This also gives us a really good idea of watching these shooters and the timing that they have.
Agreed.
And the discipline, honestly. I mean, how many times have you thought I should let down, but you don't?
Yeah, and usually if they get to the point where you think you should let down, you're probably in trouble if you don't. Just kind of that your mind knows before you know.
So Brady Myers with the PSE shirt. Again, he came in here ranked 4th. And this is the shoot off for 2nd. So now what are we going to do, Rio? Take us through the process of what happens.
We're going to go down there and score. There'll be 3 judges that will each make their own call. They'll go over them and see if they agree, and that will be the final arrow call. It's a little different process, so there's no, question as to what it is, because this is for a lot. To put one on one judge is a lot, and so to me, it's a good system. It takes a little longer, but it makes it more consistent and fair.
Especially when we get into the big shoot-off, the open shoot-off.
Yes.
And there's so much at stake, $50,000 this year for the top winner, not even including anything that they bring to the table with their own sponsorship with contingency money. I mean, we've seen people here at the Vegas shoot stand on the podium with over $100,000 of checks in their hands.
Yeah, not a bad weekend.
Yeah. Not the case necessarily for this particular class, but this is championship compound young adults. And Nathan Zimmerman confirmed as a 30. So he's the benchmark. Anyone else who shoots below that, they'll be dropped out of this.
So now he can take a break. He feels a little better, not the pressure. Now he can sit and watch the others shoot.
Yeah.
No, George, there's no inside-out scoring.
Oh, sorry.
I like the move from Nathan Zimmerman.
Classy.
He's a classy young man. His dad used to own an archery shop in Illinois, northern part of Illinois. A couple hours, maybe an hour and a half outside of Chicago. And I had the opportunity to shoot with Nathan when he was around 12, 13 years old in his dad's shop, and he was as passionate about archery then as he is now. So congratulations to Nathan with a 3X, second place. Now we're going to shoot for third spot. So this will go between Jacob Merkel and Brady Myers.
Third place, good luck.
This for third place in the championship compound young adult. So both shooters, yeah.
And now they're scoring the inner X.
What does that
That's
mean?
the difference. You can hit, as long as you hit the inner X, you get the 10. If you don't hit it, it's a 9. They pretty much erase the Big 10 line at this point. So both of those will be 10s. It's a tougher one to do, and it really usually thins out the group and finishes the tournament in a hurry, but these two seem to be handling the pressure really, really well.
With that last shot, Jacob Merkel didn't like it, but he caught it. That's all he needs. This arrow to advance.
Well, we're still tied.
Yes. I mean, how about the shot, though, from Brady Myers? It looked like they landed all in exactly the same spot. Would you be grabbing a click on your sight, maybe moving that sight, just one click to center up that shot?
Oh, without a doubt. That's what I had a hard time when I was younger doing that. My dad used to laugh and say, you paid for that sight, you got to use it.
That's
so
right.
Give her some turns.
Clicks are free.
Yeah.
Definitely clicks are free. So back to the target we go. The 20-yard walk. There is a line on the floor you can see where the archers aren't allowed to cross until score is official. That way keeps them off the target. You can't touch the arrows if you come to these competitions.
Yep, and it's interesting to see that they both had a little hiccup in the first round, little nerves. Then they both come out and really stepped it up and put 3 X's down there. So it'll be curious to see who's going to give the first out of the bunch of them. And it may not be the money that's in the open division, but, at under 18, money's money.
Yeah, $1,500.
Yeah.
$1,000 is pretty good.
Yeah.
And number 3 of the championship compound young adult, Jacob Merkel, Brady Meyer shooting for third place.
He did not like that one. It's a 10. Yeah, it's a 9 because they're shooting for the X.
Okay, so we're going off the score still.
Yep.
So if you really look at it, Brady Myers looks like he's.
He wasn't happy with that one.
No,
either.
did you see right before he released, he just moved the bow up.
Kind of quit it, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Merkel just needs a good arrow here to win. End up with third place, put him on the podium.
So it looks like a 9 for Myers and a 10 for Jacob Merkel. So New York's Jacob Merkel will take it.
Ends up third place. I mean, that's. I mean, that one opened up a little more. The nerves kind of hopped back on. But the hard part with this is, if you didn't win that shoot-off, you didn't make the podium.
Yeah, that was the pressure leading into it since you finished up earlier today. These archers competed at 9:30 in the morning was their line, and they were all wrapped up by about 11:15. So they've been hanging around most of the day practicing and just waiting for this moment. And for Nathan Zimmerman, he's in second, and Jacob Merkel will be third with Brady Myers in fourth place.
And it's always good to see the sportsmanship.
It definitely does. So your podium in the championship compound young adult will be Dewey Hathaway, who had that wrapped up before this shoot-off. Nathan Zimmerman, who came in second, will walk away second place on the podium with Jacob Merkel in third. And now we're going to move on to the senior category. These are for archers that aren't, well, they're a little older than you, Rio, without question. But is the championship compound senior. So this is going to be shooters that are 50 years old and older. So what do you think about our first match of the day, Rio?
Pretty awesome. I mean, you had a bunch come out. They were a little nervous out of the gate. Cleaned it up the second one and then opened back up. So, I mean, great experience for these kids. I mean, great experience. They just, it proves it gives them a little experience for later. Maybe later down the road we see them in the open division. But I thought it was really good to watch them step out there and do that.
A look at Nathan Zimmerman, who finished second, and the smooth shot he had. And this steely-eyed young man delivering it downrange to wrap up third place. A great way to kick off our big night, final night here at the Vegas Shoot 2022 from the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. As we continue to march our way closer to the championship open division, it's now time for the championship compound senior for the winner.
From West Virginia, this is Keith Trail.
Wily veteran Keith Trail making his way out onto the floor.
And he could be, I mean, this could be 3 in a row.
It definitely could. But if Bill Drake has anything to say about it, he wants to put a stop to Keith Trail's run of compound senior wins. All right, so Bill Drake started the weekend on Friday with a perfect 300 score, as did Keith Trail. Both of them dropped a single arrow on day number 2, and then the pressure was on today, and both of them were able to clean it. So 899s, Bill Drake 68 total X's out of 90, and Keith Trail 61 total X's. Michael Braden, who won the 10K a day shoot last night, won himself $10,000 for a single arrow, was your lone survivor in third place.
And this is interesting because Keith has won it twice, but I believe neither time did he have to shoot all 4.
Yeah.
So it's a little different for him.
So Keith has actually won it 4 times in a row, Rio, and this could be his 5th time in a row.
5th time?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be his 3rd in a row.
Yeah. How about that?
That's crazy.
Our statistician from the truck gave us the information.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So for Keith Trail, he's in the PSE jersey, and Bill Drake out of Oregon. So different parts of the country. You know a lot about Keith Trail. You've shot your entire pro career in and around him. Why are you smiling?
Oh, I love Keith. I mean, he's a good guy. He's, you know, military, retired. He's does a lot for the sport. He has a shop. Keith has done, I mean, he's traveled with us a ton, and he's a good guy.
Yeah, but no matter how many times you've been on this stage, even if you're Keith Trail with all the experience, military experience, and if you ever get a chance to come shoot with Keith, it is entertaining to listen to some of the stories. It's still, nerves are still going to kick in for both these shooters.
Oh, definitely.
Bill Drake representing Bowtech, a company based out of Oregon. All right, so this format, as we're told, is expected to be
First end of practice.
Mm-hmm. So we know Bill Drake looks like he's a button shooter.
But both of them are shooting buttons.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Their release is activated by a trigger that their thumb uses, aka that's what they call it, the button. Just a little difference. You'll see some that work on a hinge, but as you can see, he lays his finger on the thumb, and the more pressure he applies, it releases the hinge to open it up.
Keith Trail with a nice steady hold. So Rio, look, you're a couple years away from getting into this category. So you've been through archery since you were a kid. You've been through all the highs, world championships, 3 Vegas wins. Is there something to getting older in terms of archery and maybe how you hold the bow, how you see everything else? Is there something that you're finding as you're...
Well, you're not as steady. Anyone that thinks you are, they're crazy. It's a little bit of a challenge, but I mean, these two are showing that it's not that big a deal. But I mean, again, it is practice.
Yeah.
You get out there and the nerves are a little bit, but they're not what they're going to be this next stand. And I mean, and this is for first place. It's not for second or third. It's for the big prize.
Yeah, in the championship compound senior through NFA, the top prize is $10,000. Second place, $5 grand. That's a big drop off, 50% drop off.
Yeah, so it means a lot. And the worst part is every arrow means so much that it's like, you hate to have that one, as we talked about let-ups, one bad arrow that you want to let go. I had an older gentleman one time tell me, you can't ever have it back once you let it go. Little word of advice.
Okay, everybody, we're doing something new this year, so I want the spectators to be able to follow along. We're doing something to kind of build the hype a little bit, but also for our television viewers all over. These two guys were tied. This is a gold medal match, and we are going to shoot arrow by arrow. It's still an end score to determine if they're tied or who wins, and the low score will shoot first. Everything else is the same. This is regular scoring, okay? This is your first end, regular scoring. Keith Trail, you're the first shooter, and you'll alternate. Good luck.
Our first end of the championship compound senior for the win. We are going archer by archer, world archery style, and kicking it off is Keith Trail.
And this is a little different than they've ever done, so it'll be interesting to see kind of the responses and how they react.
You can see the nerves there.
Yeah.
It just didn't look like Keith had a positive shot. His timing looked off just a little bit.
And that means a lot. I mean, now Keith's going to feel the pressure and have to at least put something in there to make sure he has a chance.
In this end of scoring, the X and the 10 ring, those 2 rings in the middle count as the same score. The highest score wins.
Good looking shot.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a little nerves, he's shaking a little bit, but he's executing really well. He's got a good follow through and it seems to be working really well.
All right, so Keith needed that, but it's going to be a 9 to tie or a 10 to win for Bill Drake.
And this is the hard part. Sitting there and you can't do anything about what you've got. There's no playing defense in archery.
See the shake, and he got it, he delivered. So just like that, Bill Drake will take it on 3 arrows. On the 1 arrow, Keith Trail wanted back, and Bill Drake able to snap Keith Trail's domination of the championship compound senior category, in which since Keith has entered the championship senior class, is able to win it. Yeah, I think it's been 3 years, right? Because Keith isn't 56 years old.
No.
So Keith Trail will take second place, and Bill Drake will take the win.
And it's starting to hit him. And like you walk around, you're like, whoa, like I just did this. It's crazy, the adrenaline. It usually takes about 2 hours to wear off, and then you're ready to just, you'll die. Like
you just want to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's like, find me a pillow and a bed.
With confirmation of scores in the championship compound senior division, the win goes to Bill Drake with a perfect 30 score. Keith Trail with a 29 will finish second, and Michael Braden will be the final archer on the podium in this category. And Rio, sometimes they go like that. I mean, they sometimes just go that fast, don't they?
Yeah, I've seen them go all kinds from 12 ends to 1 end. I mean, it's all just almost the kind of luck of the draw thing. It's always wild.
So this is the way this one started. They hung targets, and then Keith Trail, it was that first shot. He knew it on the release.
Yeah, he was not happy with it.
And shaking a little bit.
Yep.
Bill Drake was able to hold on to and deliver the best 10 of his career.
Well, and don't think that was an extra added pressure on Keith to win multiple back-to-backs. Like it's not that it was any easier for Drake, but it was just that kind of thing.
Now, what we're expecting coming up next is going to be something special. The level of the next category has just keeps going up and up and up. And if you remember, in 2021, the champion in this category was 13 years old. She's now 14 years old, and she made it back into this final shoot for the podium. So here we are. It's the Vegas Shoot 2022, back to Vegas from the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's Championship Sunday. As we are finishing off some classes that shot earlier, there were some things yet to be decided, including what's coming up next in the championship compound female division, as we have our top 3 shooters.
All 3 past champions and all 3 shooting a 900.
Well, congratulations, Bill.
Bill, Vegas Shoot champion, how does this sound?
It's not sunk in yet. Not even. The nerves are still going.
One end and it was done. Did you expect it to finish so quick?
What was that?
Did you expect it to finish so quick?
No, not really. Last year it went 8 ends before we decided on it, so I expected a couple, but the nerves were as much as I've ever experienced. So.
You were up there against the big man of the division. What can you say about your second place friend?
I'll tell you what, these guys are the most supportive of anybody I've ever shot with, to be honest. And it's been a pleasure shooting with Michael and Keith and Randy and all those guys. It's pretty cool.
Congratulations and thank you.
Well, congratulations to Bill Drake, a great accomplishment. But here in South Point Hotel Casino, Las Vegas, Lico Areola, 14 years old, was able to shoot a perfect 900. And we put this together for you.
I scored a 900, a perfect score. I was happy because I saw my parents, they were proud of me, and I was overexcited, yeah. I started archery by my dad. He used to do archery before, but when he saw like little kids shooting, he thought it would be a good idea for me to shoot. So he got me into archery. Last year was my first time shooting the championship. During the tournament, I was kind of nervous, but my dad was talking it through me, and I kept pacing myself, staying calm as best as I could, and keep on trying. Being around them was like huge for me because they're like the people I look up to, kind of. I love shooting with them. They're so nice and sweet, and I was kind of nervous at some points, but it was fun. It's just surprising how people know me. It's shocking. It helped me get more, I guess, a scholarship, meeting new people, getting interviewed. and all that. I would say just try your best, and if you want to achieve something, just go for it.
All right, Lico Areola, 14 years old now, did it at 13. The youngest person in Vegas shoot history to even shoot a 300, let alone a 900. But now, let's get ready for the championship compound female category. And here she comes, Lico Areola, who shot a perfect 900 and 74 X's as she comes into this one. Tied up top, but she comes out third just based on those tiebreaker X's. And second up from California, the legend, Paige Pierce. Another clean round for her and 78 out of 90 X's. But leading the way all weekend long is this third shooter, Tanya Gelantine from Denmark, who's living in Kentucky now.
Yeah, they just moved.
And Tanya has been on an absolute tear as of late. And of 90 possible X's, Rio, she only dropped 8.
It's phenomenal. I know talking to the other women, they're like, man, she was drilling the middle. They all were telling me about it.
So these 3 shooters, this is going to be your podium. The question is, what order? Lico Areola from Hawaii, Paige Pierce from California, and Tanya Gelantine from Denmark, who's now married to Braden Gelantine.
And she beat her husband for the weekend.
Yeah, she did. I was waiting to say that. Poor Braden dropped his last arrow. He dropped a single point on his last arrow to work his way to the lucky dog, and he didn't make it. So I'm sure that Braden's here in full support of his wife.
Yep. I mean, it's, as we know, it's not easy, and Braden's a great shot. It just, oh.
This is the Vegas Shoot 2022, back to Vegas from the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. The championship compound female, it was tied up top with 3 women shooting perfect 900 scores. Rio, it seems like it was just yesterday when we were talking about the accomplishment of any compound female shooter that was able to get a 900, and now it's just seems like it's becoming a habit, which is absolutely great to see.
Oh, 100%. I think it's awesome. These girls are shooting that good. I mean, I think there was once before with Sarah Lopez and the gal from Korea that they tied at 900s, but other than that, now to have 3, it's off the charts.
So Chaiwan also did it, you remember?
Yep, so Chaiwan, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so this is a practice end, and we're going to focus on Lico and Rio. It was incredible just to think she was able to grab the win at 13 years old. New on the scene, as we heard in that feature, and now becoming a seasoned veteran already.
But it's going to be different because every one of these that won it, when they shot their 900, they won it outright. They didn't go into a shoot-off. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it and how different it is.
Well, you saw the look on Lico's face after that shot. Very competitive young archer, as all 3 of these athletes are.
And as in any shoot-off, the competitive nature really flows. As Chance Bobeff and I talked one time, he says, we may be friends, but for about the next 15, 20 minutes, we ain't.
Chance Bobeff, of course, 3-time Vegas winner like yourself. There's Paige Pierce. And, you know, Rio, for the bigger picture in archery, too, if you look at the 3 athletes on the floor and the different bows that they're shooting, you know, that equipment, you have Matthews, Bowtech, and Hoyt, 3 heavy hitters. And it just shows you, too, that the level of equipment over the last couple of years is such a high mark, and so many of these companies are building incredible bows that can just, in the right hands, just shoot X's all day.
Yeah, equipment's become super, super consistent and really good. I mean, it's amazing what these engineers have come up with over the last few years.
Practice. Oftentimes, Rio, we say practice doesn't mean much.
No, I mean, it's something, but it's not something. I've watched guys come out and shoot big 9s and then get in the shoot off and just smoke the middle. It's something that people do sometimes. They get lackadaisical, and it's not as big a deal, and then they get one in there, and it just locks them in, and they really go. So it'll be interesting to see which way these 3 women go.
And look, when you're on the practice range, that's off in the distance, and you're practicing, the thoughts creep in your head that people are watching you and watching your scores, right? Like, oh, somebody's got binos out. But here, we know it 100%.
Yeah. And one of the other parts is in the practice range, too, sometimes you'll look over and look at your competitor's target just to see how they're doing going out there, to get yourself an idea of what you're up against.
All right, so the discussion on the floor right now is the shooting order, because oftentimes here at the Vegas shoot, we're going to see 3 shooters shoot all at one time. But in this particular shoot off, because it is for the number 1 spot, number 2 and number 3 spot, they're going to go one by one shooting. Here's Bruce.
Once again, this will be the first official scoring end of the regular scoring. And as I told everybody earlier, we're going to be shooting arrow by arrow. And we start with the lowest score, which is always on the field plate to the right. So that will be you, young lady. And then Paige, now we're ready to go. All right. First official, regular scoring, arrow by arrow, but it's a sudden death round. All 3 arrows count to be eliminated. All right? Archers to the line. Good luck.
The championship compound female first end to decide the winner is done by score, normal scoring. So inside either of those 2 rings is a 10. Highest score can win it outright on the first end. If we tie on score, we advance to the next round. Lico Areola opens up with a 10, also an X down low.
Which for this round doesn't mean anything. But still, it gives you some confidence.
You can see Lico looking back at coach's box.
It's got to be a little different with this going on this way, because before you could just get in a rhythm and roll. So I'm going to be curious if, like with the men, if it changes how far it goes.
This is totally different, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's so different.
This is kind of World Archery style, but normally in World Archery, it's just 2 shooters. With these 3, that pause between arrows is a little longer. Great delivery.
Excellent shot. She's a little happier with her timing. Was a little better on that one than the first one. The first one took a little longer. That one was really a good shot.
And we are in a privileged position right now, as our commentary position is right behind the shooter, so we get a good look at the hold and the release. Paige holding a little longer than normal, but she waits for it to get to where it needs to go and delivers.
Good, solid. I mean, to come through and execute with that long a hold, she did awesome.
Tanya with a nice solid 10. And you can see on Tanya's release, she uses a huge button to get that done. And Lico is actually using a different type of release than Tanya is.
It's a hinge that works on, as you rotate it, it opens it up, and it releases as it comes by the half moon and comes off and opens the release head to let it go of the string. So it's a little different.
Lico looked back to her coach's box to make sure she was done shooting. She checked her quiver for her arrows. So we're just seeing X's across the board.
And sometimes this, when it comes to this, it would be more relaxing, and I would try to figure out how I was going to shoot the X more, because you knew it was going to count. Ooh, but it's really, I think it's solid, but it's really not, because it's not, X's don't matter right now.
Right now. If this was our second end, that would be disastrous for Tanya. But it looks like it's going to be a 10. But now what happens?
Yeah, they go down and they get a look at it, and as you can see, Tanya's got her binoculars out and trying to look at it from every angle, and the tension till they call it is a lot. I mean, not too bad with 3 archers, but when there's men and there's 23 out there, boy, you can build some good anxiety up in your body.
Yeah, I bet.
But look at them all. I mean, Paige is looking at it too. They're talking. And she's got to wait for them judges. The anxiety has got to be just at a level we're just not used to having.
Yeah. And for these archers too, these athletes, you know, they shoot together quite often at national competitions. So there is friendships that are built, even though there is competition, like you were talking about with Chance Bobeth not too long ago. So as the judges have made their call, Bruce call. All right, so she did get a 30, so she caught that line. That's all you need for this competition at the moment. Is all you need to do is just touch the line and you get the higher point value. Paige Pierce, that was easy. She's also 30. And then for Lico, a 30.
And sometimes that's good because you get that one bad shot out of the way and you feel like, ooh, I got away with it.
Yeah.
Now I can roll.
That's right. And you could see it too right at the last moment with Tanya that she just had a bit of a bobble.
Yeah, she knew it, but she's like, I want to hang a new target. I don't want to look at that bad hole.
All right, let's talk about that for a second, Rio, because there's so many ways for compound archers to see through their scope setup. So we have a sight with a scope, and it's adjustable left and right, up and down for the different distances, and obviously the way your entire rig is set up. But in terms of how it actually aims on target, which is your preference? Because you could have a fiber pin, you can have a big dot on a lens, you could have a small dot on the lens. What do you choose?
I choose a dot, and I can tell you why, because I don't know if it's my mental side or what it is, but if I put a pin up there, my body wants to see behind it. It's like, hey, what's back there? Hey, what's going on? And so to me, with the dot, I can center it up and let it just set in the middle and execute the shot.
And when we look at the yellow part of the target, so that's the X ring, the 10 ring, and the 9 ring, how much of your dot actually covers that part of it?
My dot's just about the size of the 10 ring.
All right, so.
Okay, this is where we switch from now on. It's still sudden death end by end, but the X counts as the 10. Scored regularly, X counts as the 10. Shooters to the line, good luck.
All right, so as it sits, it's the second end of competition for the championship compound female. Scoring has changed now to the inner ring, which is known as the X ring. That is the only one that counts as a 10. Lico Areola starts us off.
10.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, she just caught that line.
And doing this alternating, it's like, oh, just what a relief I got it. Now the others get to try and match it.
Great shot from Paige.
Solid.
Keep in mind, all three of these women have won this before.
9.
So that's a 9.
Now again, like, you can't play defense, so you're hoping for them to help you out a little, because otherwise you're done.
And the key is to put it out of your mind. Not say as an archer, door's open, I gotta slam the door, just to go through your process. And Lico does it.
And it's hard to do. I mean, with the alternating, it's different. When we used to shoot straight up, you'd hear what I called the ooh birds. When somebody misses, you hear ooh, as we did when Tanya did. But at least this one, you're getting to see what they did, so you know the ooh birds aren't your tattletale. It's getting to see it.
So for Tanya Galantine, just to keep the ropes alive, she's got to put it right in the 10 ring. She does. But after such an outstanding weekend of shooting, 82 X's and a perfect 900 score, for it to come down like this, the potential for heartbreak unless one of these two archers, or both of them really, do shoot 9s, and it doesn't happen. So for Lico Areola, she sets the benchmark.
So you need Paige needs at least an X to tie it and keep it moving.
Or Lico's got to be champion.
Little bobble there. Wings her up.
9.
Oh, that's it. Lico's the champion.
Lico's the champion. 2 ends of competition.
And Tanya needs this to at least have a chance at second. If she misses this, she ends up third. It could be all decided right there on this arrow.
Good move. She still has 25 seconds on the clock to shoot. Taking a deep breath.
Which is somebody who shoots World Archery, you get 20 seconds per arrow anyway, so it's not a big time thing. She should be able to execute a good shot and get on it.
Just to keep this going for second place. She's got it. So, Lico Areola, clearly the winner, and back-to-back championships. She does it at 13 years old, and now she does it at 14. Incredible. Under immense pressure. Looking at her coach, what do you want me to do now? Take a picture or go down to the target? Didn't really want to bring your bow, but that's okay.
Hey, when you got that kind of nerves and you don't know what's going on, you just do what you got to do.
Two archers on the right have been through this a few times in their career, and they know what it's like. So here's confirmation.
Champion Vegas 2022, Rico!
So Lika Ariola does it again. The pride of Hawaii. Starting to own Vegas.
Yeah. And sometimes it's good to be young and don't realize what you're doing. But she's doing awesome. I mean, that's impressive. I don't care who you are. Back-to-back Vegas wins is. I was never able to accomplish that myself, and so it's a big thing.
It is definitely a big thing. So what the situation we have now is that Tanya Galantine and Paige Pierce will shoot for second, where Lico will go take a seat and watch her competitors shoot off for second. So
they did a good deal by leaving her arrows in, so it'll be good for pictures and everything else. But she gets to go back and now relax a little bit and enjoy watching the shoot off.
Obviously, people calling for photos for Lico as the crowd erupts. And boy, she's going to have two banners hanging up here at the South Point Hotel and Casino next year as the 2021 Vegas champ and now 2022 Vegas champ.
All right, so we will continue shooting for second, third place, and Paige Pierce will be up. Once again, it's end by end sudden death. X counts as 10. Archers to the line. Good luck.
Back to championship compound female after 2022 champ Lico Ariola finished her round. Now we're shooting for second place between Paige Pierce, who's at full draw, and Tanya Galantine.
And I'm going to say the nerves are going to settle in. We saw how much quicker Paige's shot is. Both of them are going to podium. It's just where they're going to finish.
Go through your process.
It's still a long hole for Tanya. She's usually a really quick shooter. Her pace is usually faster.
That wouldn't look like it definitely caught a line, so it should be a 10. So that one drifted out to the left.
And again, that was a longer hold than she had on the first. I mean, her first one was really good pace, quick, fast. But that one, you kind of could see that she was really working. Tanya, again, that was the fastest shot I've seen so far since she's been out there.
Much more rhythmic, where everything flows into, you get to anchor point, you get to your aiming, it's where it needs to be, and then you just send it.
Well, sometimes when you hold a little longer, your dot starts to jump around, and it just makes the shot tougher to make. Again, quicker shot. And not that that's easy to manage as to whether how fast or slow it is. It's just your nerves and what your body does to you.
This for second place. All right, so looks like Tanya Galantine will take second place and Paige Pierce third. And big waves to the crowd. So that was for second and third place. But if you're just joining us, you missed a great performance by 14-year-old Lico Ariola from Hawaii, who was able to take victory in the championship compound female division.
So, officially, Tanya Galantine is second, Paige Pierce is third. Give them a round of applause.
Awesome. In just a few moments, we're going to be hearing some words from our new women's champion, Lico.
But all three shot amazing. I mean, I don't care who you are. To get to this point, there's not many people that can say they've ever shot a 900 in Vegas.
A good look at Lico Ariola and those final three shots for her victory. Let's hear from Lico.
Lico, congratulations. Back-to-back champion. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling really good. I was a little nervous at the beginning, but it was really fun and shooting with Paige and Tanya. It was really fun.
What was it for you to be out here in the arena?
Quite nervous for me, but it was really fun. I really enjoyed it, so I'm really happy.
How can you describe this championship compared to the last one?
A little bit more shocking and a little bit more nervous for me again, because I've never done this, the shoot-off before, and it's really fun. So.
You keep making history at the Vegas shoot. What else can we expect from you?
Just hopefully keep trying what I'm doing right now and continue to
Thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Real wild, we could say that Lico Ariola is a rising star, but she's already well up there and established.
Yep, way out in the atmosphere. She is doing amazing.
And she's getting a lot more comfortable with the interview process as well.
Yeah, I mean, 14 years old, come on. I mean, you're talking, she in my mind is mature beyond her age.
When I was a kid, I didn't want to be a policeman. I didn't want to be a firefighter. I didn't want to be a pilot. I didn't want to be an astronaut. I didn't want to be a scientist. I wanted to be a sheep herder. And then Vegas happened. Winning the Vegas shoot changed my life. Not once, but twice. Tonight I'm looking to make it 3. And it starts right now.
So here we are at the Vegas Shoot 2022, back to Vegas at the South Point Hotel and Casino from Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's time for the big show. This is the Championship Compound Open Division, where 22 archers shot perfect 900 scores to shoot their way into this final competition with one lucky dog. And the first archer out on stage is Wisconsin's Danny McCarthy. Right behind him from North Carolina, Justin Hanna, who we've seen in this position before. By the way, I'm Greg White, sitting alongside 3-time Vegas champ Rio Wild, as the stage is being set for these 22 competitors that will all shoot 20 yards downrange at a 40-centimeter target like they've done all weekend long. 3 days of 30 arrows apiece for a perfect 900 score. And for our 19th place qualifier, Sergio Pagni from Italy, he is no stranger to this stage.
Nope, 2-time winner.
Eric Jenkins came out just before Sergio Pagni, and fellow Italian Federico Pagnoni, who's been here a time or two. And then next up is one archer who has been on fire the last couple of weeks. From Minnesota, it's Nick Cappers.
Had an awesome performance last week in Lancaster. Really put on a show.
Put on a huge show. Had to shoot a lot of arrows. This is Nico Vinier from Austria. He'll come in tied for 14th place. And then Jacob Pettit follows behind him. And Pettit stormed onto the scene a couple of years ago in Vegas, started to make a name for himself.
Yep, having made the shoot off a few times.
Now there are 900 points to be scored, but there's also X ring. And out of those 90 X's, how many you scored is where it puts you in the tiebreaker. Steve Marsh from Colorado. And then a fan favorite coming up. What?
Well, it might be not a bad thing because both those last two are from Colorado, so it might be nice that they're standing next to each other because they've shot with each other a bit.
Yeah,
could be a thing.
Sense, yeah. So Jacob Marlowe, he's at least where he wants to be. He's had ups and downs in Marlowe's latest career, and so he's cleaned it, and he's in. Jacob Sluzars, who's been here as well from New York. He was tied for 8th place, so Sluzars comes in with 79 X's. as does Jeff Rainey out of Kansas. Give you an idea of where we are in the order. Our top qualifier shot 86 out of a 90 possible arrows. And now comes Michigan's Bobby Eiler, who has a long and storied history here at the Vegas Shoot over the years. And he's back at it again. We also saw him compete last week on the East Coast, and he had a great run at it. As for this young man, Gaze Carter, works here in the industry. He lives in Arizona now, originally from North Carolina, and he also was able to shoot his way with a nice 900 for Gaze. He was clean at one point on day 2. Thought he was going to get that coveted 30Xs, but still in the mix. Richard Bowen from Arkansas. He got in with 979 X's. And then there's a jump. This is Christopher Perkins, a world champ in his own right. Shooter of the year in ASA, won multiple championship or tournaments. 81 X's for Christopher Perkins. And then back at it with a new sponsor, back to Hoyt, comes Jesse Broadwater out of Florida. Tied for 6th with 81 X's is Broadwater, and a different swagger for Jesse. Alberto Blasquez coming from Spain. He has had a great tournament. Yep. 82 X's, and he had a ton of them on the first day. I think first day he shot 29 to 30 X's. He was also involved in our World Archery Indoor Finals last night. And then there's this young man who stormed onto the scene in the public eye last week in Lancaster, Pennsylvania at the young age of 14 years old. He was 14 on Friday and shot 329 X's, and he turned 15 years old yesterday, and he is a fan favorite. Our third place qualifier, Mr. Perfect, Mike Schlusser, who started the weekend with 30 X's, a perfect day on Friday, and was able to notch 84 under his belt. Put in a lot of work. And then our 2-time in a row Vegas champion is Kyle Douglas out of Utah. You saw the video. And Kyle Douglas is trying to hat trick, trying to three-peat if he wins Rio. You think people are going to start throwing hats down on the floor?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't think so.
I don't know. The NHL All-Star game was last night here in Las Vegas. But our #1 qualifier out of Kentucky, Jace Boyles. And Boyles, 86 X's. And then is our lucky dog.
The lucky dog.
Shooting 899, dropping 1 point. They put everybody together and they had a shoot off. And this archer put it dead center to get himself in the lucky dog. It is Stefan Hansen. Probably one of the lucky dogs that no one wanted to see in the shoot Rio.
100%. We discussed that while they were shooting. And Levi Morgan and I are both like, that's not the guy they want to see in there.
Here's Bruce Cole.
To the first yellow line, and look at Dean, our photographer. And Dean, you just tell me when you're done. I'm getting out of the way. All right, gentlemen, turn around and give a big wave to everybody that's been watching you and going to watch somebody win. Congratulations. All right, you can head behind the shooting line and we'll get ready to start. Oh, wait a minute. You guys need some targets. Yeah. Let's put some, were you really going to just shoot without targets? All right, put your targets up, guys.
We were getting ready to see a perfect 900 group of archers blank bail.
Well, I can tell you, I've seen crazier things than shoot-offs. I do remember one at the NFA Indoor Nationals where the guy shot, went down, pulled their arrows, and then realized those were for score.
Oh, no.
And everybody pulled their arrows. So it was pretty lucky, so no one lost or whatever. But it was truly something to see.
So if you're just joining us, this is the Vegas Shoot 2022, and this is the big class, the Championship Compound Open. The winner of this shoot wins $50,000 from the Vegas shoot. It's a 20-yard from shooting line to target face, just a little bit longer than 18 meters if you're not from the United States. They're shooting a 3-spot, 40-centimeter target face. And the scoring, Rio, is designed to knock people out as quickly as possible. Tell us about the scoring.
They do this one a little differently here. They'll do one end of the regular 10 scoring, and then it goes to the inner X, the size of a penny, for over $50,000, which it's already hard enough to hit something the size of a penny at 20 yards, but throw that extra tension on it, and it just becomes even more impressive that anybody hits it.
And I'll add even more tension. You know, when you're in a group of 23 archers, which we have on the line right now, you can kind of understandably get lost in the wash. But as it whittles down and it becomes 5 people and 4 people and 3 people, then it really starts to get tense. So hands are in the air of how many people have been in the shoot-off. You can see there's a few, including 15-year-old Bodie Turner.
Yeah, his first appearance. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles it. I mean, 23 up there, like you said, you can get lost, but it's a different thing because think about it. You just shot 900, you miss in the first hand, you're 23rd.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Stefan Hansen.
It was fun. I mean, it's such a hard little shoot. I mean, you just have to put a couple of arrows in the middle and be a little bit lucky that somebody missed. But I mean, I've been there before. Last year I made it, I think I got maybe 2nd or 3rd or something like that, and I was shooting very well. This year it was just like rolling. Like yesterday, it was very good in the 10K shoot-off also, and I was just try to do the same thing.
And you saw Stefan pull that last arrow, and that thing was an absolute donut in the middle, inside-out scoring to get him in here. And Rio, over the years, we've seen 2 archers go from lucky dog to Vegas champion. And the part that's so unique, though, about being the lucky dog is you can only either win it or you finish last.
Yeah, it's not a real forgiving position to be in. I would say it almost puts more pressure on you than anybody else out there because you're either going to be the big dog or you're going to go back to being the lucky one.
So for Stefan Hansen, putting on the steely face, used to be known as the baby-faced assassin. Didn't really like it, ran a beard for quite a while.
Trying to change that little nickname a little bit up, but he's a good shooter. And like I said earlier when we watched, we're like, that is probably not the guy these 22 other guys want to see in there.
There's Jace Boyles, our #1 qualifier. Obviously 900 score, but 86 X's on the weekend. And it seems with Jace Boyles that this time of year, he just shows up, and he shows up in a big way.
Yeah, and it's one we talked about earlier with some of the guys. It's interesting to see your high X count doesn't win this tournament very often. Even as we saw with the women. Tanya was our high, she didn't win. It's a weird, I don't know if it's a curse or whatever. I mean, out of the 3, I did it once, you know, but it's a thing.
Yeah. And there's so many heavy hitters in here. I mean, with Kyle Douglas and Mike Schlusser and, of course, Jesse Broadwater, Christopher Perkins. I mean, the list is just long. And, you know, even when you get down to the people that didn't shoot the maximum amount of X's, like your Danny McCarthy's, your Justin Hanna's, Sergio Pagni has won it as a lucky dog before. This is just anyone's tournament. It depends who is going to be able to control their nerves as we go through these ends.
And it has been a surprise a few times who wins. It's not always who we want. I mean, we're in Vegas. The safe bet's not always the one that you're going to get.
This first hand is regular scoring, just like you shot your 90 arrows. You'll start and stop by the whistle, regular scoring, and remember it's sudden death. Somebody could go out after this end. You have to tie the high score. Everybody understand? After that, we go to X counts as 10. And we continue that until we get to a number when we will televise arrow by arrow. So not until that point. Regular scoring end. Archers to the line. Good luck.
Championship Compound Open, end number 1. Normal scoring, 23 archers lined up. Who's going to have the highest score and who's going to drop out of this one?
It's always interesting because it usually is one.
Like one person dropped up to
One
the first.
person, yep. I don't know why or what it is, but there's always one. And after 90 arrows, for it to walk out there and do it right there, it kind of is, I mean, it can't feel good, but it's, at least you made it there, but you're still on the first one out. Oh.
Jace Boyles on your right, Kyle Douglas, the reigning champ, who earlier today got his championship ring. And there's Mr. Perfect, Mike Schlusser. Looks like he's got to let out a big breath. This is one archer who constantly is working. Carries a lot of weight on his stabilizers as well.
Practices a lot. Got a girlfriend who just won a medal at the Olympics, so they get to shoot together a lot. His wife,
How
yes.
dare you?
Yeah. Oh, she'll remind me later.
Jesse Broadwater's target looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen now is that they're shooting. Obviously, they're all shooting at one time. But as we start to whittle this field down and we get to a number probably around 10, they're going to start shooting one at a time. And that's really going to ramp the pressure up. Still 33 seconds on the clock. And it looks like, yeah, everyone's done. So there's the clock indicating everyone's done. Now they're going to move to the line. And judges will come out and start scoring. I'm going to start to the left. So Jace Boyles, the #1 target on the left part of your screen, will get scored first. Judges will just talk about it and confirm what they see. Normal, traditional Vegas type scoring. So
one advantage is being one of the high guys, you get your score early. Like we talked about Tanya and having that anxiety, but you get it out of the way.
So you can see that Boyle's target is a 30. And so that's the benchmark. Anyone who shoots below that in this end is out, just like that.
Yep, and as I looked around there, I didn't see any that were out. So we didn't lose that one by the looks of it.
But the thing to look at is what kind of 30s are there? Meaning we're going to be moving pretty quickly to that the X ring as 10, and anything outside of that is going to be 9. So you want to be able to stuff them in the middle and get in that rhythm early.
Yep, and it changes so much when you go to that X ring. I don't care anybody says, it changes. Like right now, you got a big spot and you're comfortable with it, but it can change.
So Gay's Carter with a nice comfortable 30. So we haven't seen anybody fall yet.
No.
As you wouldn't really expect. You know, at the caliber of archers that we see, especially on the front end with the amount of X's that they shot, the 10 ring, which is in play in this end, seems pretty large.
Yeah, it does. And like I said, for the most part, I've seen maybe one most of the time. But they all look pretty good from the looks of when they ran the camera by. So they all got through this one, so it'll make it interesting when they get down to it.
Stephen Marsh, the middle part of your screen. Looks like he might have one that's pretty close. He's shaking his head. Yeah, it looked like his Jacob Marlowe's in with a 30. So now we're down to 13th place, now to 14th. Judges are taking a close look. Yeah, he got that one clean. Yeah, no problem. That was a quarter shaft for Steve Marsh.
Still don't like him to be that, to make you that uncomfortable.
No, because had this been one end later, headed in with a 30.
Weiner, 30.
You may be thinking to yourself, okay, good, everybody's 30. But what do we normally see? When we shrink the scoring size down, what do we normally see? Maybe half the people drop in one end?
Or more.
Or more?
I mean, I've seen it one end, it goes right to Sergio the year he won, was like one end and it was done.
That's true.
So, I mean, well, and even the women, same thing. First end, Lico.
And that was the year, by the way, that was the 50th when they went from what, it was like 28,000 to 50. And
Yeah.
we had what, maybe 4 people in the
Five
people in, because the pressure was so high in this arena when they were shooting qualification rounds. It was probably our lowest number of 900 shooters in recollection, but obviously that's settled in, and being $50,000 prize, you can see. Looks like everybody's good. Stefan Hansen with a 30.
All right, you can pull your arrows. For the first time ever, nobody went out in the first regular scoring round.
First time ever, no one goes out in the first round.
I told you, I said there's usually one, but it's going to get serious now. We'll see how much it changes when it does the little penny-size X-ring.
Just a replay of some of the shots that we saw, different styles, different holds, and different look at the target. I mean, this is it. This is the creme de la creme. I mean, if you want to learn how to shoot a bow and emulate somebody, they're in this group.
Yep, for sure.
So end number 1 of the championship compound open, done and dusted. And for the first time in history, all archers are in. Every single archer shot a 30. Now it's to end number 2.
You see some people fixing their holes, some putting new faces up.
And your first scoring end in which the X counts as the 10. Scored regularly, not inside out. The X counts as the 10.
All right, so we just narrowed the field of view. We cut the scoring 10 in half, in essence.
And good luck.
Yeah.
So now we're going to see, if you don't hit that baby 10 ring, the X ring in the middle, that counts as 9 points if you're in the gold anywhere. Obviously 8 in the red, 7, and then 6.
And the hard part is not changing how you shoot, because a lot of these guys shot a lot of good X's. And now in your mind, I got to hit it. So do they change and it causes like problems in how you shoot, or does it not? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. The unique shooting style of Jacob Marlowe. The Joker shot.
Yeah, for sure. He's got a different
big smile
there.
Mm-hmm.
Brody's binoculars come out, so not sure on that. So did Mikey's.
Yeah.
It's usually a sign that you're not confident in it.
Oftentimes in archery, we'll call that glassing. Glassing your arrow, taking those binos out and just taking a look. How many times do you wish you could change where it landed if you're looking through the binos?
As I had a guy once tell me, you can never have it back once you let it go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shooting an arrow is a broken egg, 100%. Kyle Douglas had a look with his binos. So Archer's starting to step off. Archery courtesy is if the shooter directly in front of you, directly behind you, or at full draw, you don't step off the line.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. It's just kind of a so you don't bump them while they're at full draw and shooting.
Gaius Carter in, and there's Sergio Pagni. Our last to shoot an arrow. Now let's see how many are dropped.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting. Perkins looks good. There's a few there that look good.
Marlowe's might be high on the bottom left.
Sergio's
a lot of these look good, though.
Yeah, there's a lot more there than I thought would be.
Yeah. All right, so we're starting this with 23 archers who all made it through the first end of scoring the first time in Vegas history, according to Bruce Cull. So we'll wait to hear these calls from Bruce as we start with our #1 qualifier out of Kentucky, Chase Boyles.
He's got a close one on that top one.
He does.
Just cresting that outside the Big Ten, so it's going to be close. Yeah.
Ooh, so Boyles, 29. Okay, so, I mean, right now, he's the benchmark. 29 is the benchmark.
Yeah.
But if someone shot a 30, then he's out.
Yep.
So that one. All right, so there it is. As you can see, everybody knows who's down there.
Yeah. And the camaraderie, like, hey, congrats, you shot well, but sorry, you're out. All
right, so Chase Boyles out, our #1 qualifier. Now it's down Kyle Douglas. Schlusser's in. The very popular 15-year-old Bodie Turner, still in.
Yeah.
Vasquez, 30.
So we've lost one.
So far.
And one's all we've lost so far.
Broadwater, 30.
Perkins looks solid.
So only our top qualifier is out so far as we rip down the line. What a heartbreak for Jay Spoils after such a great weekend. A perfect 900 score and only dropping 4 X's. Ooh. So Richard Bowen is out.
Surprised, because he's been one that has been right there behind Kyle the last 2 years.
Gase Carter stays in it. Congratulations all around. It's quite an accomplishment just to be here. Everyone knows how difficult it is to shoot a 900. Bobby Eiler's still in it. Jeff Rainey out of Kansas. Continuing to plug along.
And he looks really relaxed. Like watching him, just his motion, for some reason he looks really relaxed.
Yeah, he could be our dark horse in this one, yeah. I can't even believe we only had 2 out.
Marlowe, 29.
Now there's 3.
Jacob will not be happy with that for sure.
No.
Marsh, 30.
Steve Marsh still in it.
Peppett, 30. Weiner, 30.
And again, I think it might be understated that Pettit and Marsh being there together from the same state and shoot together occasionally could be something.
30.
Nick Capper's still in it.
Pagnoni, 30.
Rio, this is shocking.
Oh, to me, it usually cuts in half, but I mean, we've had what?
Pogny,
3. We've only had 3 shooters. Our #1 qualifier, Jay Spoils, Richard Bowen,
Jenkins,
and
29.
Jacob Marlowe are the ones that have dropped.
Oh, yeah.
Hannah, 30.
So Eric Jenkins is another one who drops, so now we're up to 4.
McCarthy, 30.
Dan McCarthy's still in.
Stefan Hansen's got one out.
Hansen, 29.
Oh, what a heartbreak for Stefan Hansen fans. So we go from 23 shooters, 5 are out. That takes us down to 18.
I would say that's probably the most that's made it past that round 2. And this bunch is putting on a pretty good show.
Those of you that are still in the shoot, would you please put up a new target and stay in your same position?
All right, so they're calling for new targets, which makes a lot of sense because at this point, with those baby X's, it makes a difference. And you can see a full line after end #1, Rio.
Oh yeah, and the reason you change the faces is because if you have 2 arrow holes and you hit in the right spot, that can really distort the lines. I've been a part of something that happened like that one time, so I think it's really a great thing they're changing the targets.
So your #1 qualifier, Jay Spoils, is out of this one. Tied on X's with Jay Spoils was Kyle Douglas. He's still in the mix. So we've seen the exit of Jay Spoils, Richard Bowen, Jacob Marlowe, Eric Jenkins, and now Stefan Hansen. New targets are being hung for our 3rd end of competition. Now keep in mind, this is the highest score tied. So, and we've seen it at times, especially when it whittles down, that a 29 could be the high score, and as long as everyone shoots a 29. So for the first 2 ends, we've had 30, which we expect, and then with 3 X's, only the X's being counted as 10s, 30 was the high score again. And with this many people still left in the championship compound open shoot, that's what we expect for our 3rd end.
All right, gentlemen, same scoring, sudden death, N by N, X counts as 10.
Our 3rd end for championship compound open saw 5 archers be eliminated, so 18 now shooting for $50,000. Three arrows, 20 yards downrange, 40-centimeter target face, 1 minute and 20 seconds on the clock. Generally, we don't see compound archers taking the full amount of time, but occasionally, if something's not feeling right, You have plenty of time to let down and reset your shot.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, I mean, just like I said, man, it's impressive they all got through. That many got through in that end. I mean, as Bruce said earlier, once we get it whittled down, we're going to go to, and Gaius right there letting up. This is the pressure is so much people don't realize, and that's a very disciplined shot. Hard thing to do. It's always easy to let it go, but to be disciplined is hard.
Yeah, and you can see some disappointment now in these archers. I mean, it's like holding a bag of $50,000 in your hand, and if you don't let down and you know you're fighting through a shot, it's like letting the bag of money just drop away from you.
Yeah, like horse chasing the carrot. It's there, right there. You just can't get to it.
Jacob Pettit didn't like that
Yeah,
shot.
He did not like that one.
Oh, no. Pettit, a fan favorite.
Nico, the reigning world outdoor champion. Did not like that one either.
And this rock, Danny McCarthy does not care about what people are watching, how much time. He just runs his own program, takes his own shots, and he sends his last one down range with 24 to go. But Danny looks like he's having another angle as well. Taking a look at it. Okay, so end number 3. We'll wait to hear what the high score is and who's going to match it. But we expect another cut, especially from a lot of the grimaces we've seen on archers' faces.
And the way people are walking down there.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's like, oh, man.
Well, Kyle Douglas is shaking some hands.
Oh, yeah, he's got a big 9.
Oh, yeah, huge. So Kyle Douglas, he does not do it.
Our high X count, both guys gone.
Yeah. Now, at the moment, Kyle Douglas sets the benchmark at 29 points. So if anyone has 30, they're going to knock him out. So 29 is 29.
Yeah.
All right. So but at the moment, both archers are still in. But the moment we hear 30, they're going to drop. That's it. So Bodie Turner knocks out Kyle Douglas and Mike Schlusser with his score. Oh, boy. Velasquez still in it, out of Spain.
Just his top one's a little left.
Okay, he's in. Broadwater trying to go for 3.
Yeah.
Hasn't won one of these in it's been a long time.
Perkins, 29.
Perkins, yeah, gets the handshakes.
And you can see it's opening up. The nerves are getting tighter, as you talked about. When the group gets down there, it gets a little harder.
Gaius Carter's still in it. He's just been on fire lately. Gaius Carter has great shooting. Bobby Eiler still in it. You can see it kind of emptying to the right part of your screen. A lot of people going down to congratulate Kyle Douglas, Mike Schlusser. Like you were talking about, Jeff Rainey still in the mix.
Yep. And look at him, man. He just looks cool and calm.
29.
Jacob Sluchars will have to take a seat. And our 4th competitor out in this 3rd round.
Steve Marsh is still in.
Great shooting from Steve.
Pettit, 29.
Looks like Jacob Pettit. We saw that on his face.
Yeah, when he shot that arrow, he knew he was not happy.
29.
Nico's out too. We saw that one. I mean, his face was not happy when he shot that last arrow.
Capers, 30.
Nick Cappers.
Still hanging there.
And he can too. I mean, he was just a machine last week.
Pagani, 29.
Ooh, so Sergio Pagni out of this one.
Yeah.
And we lose our 7th.
30.
Oh, wait, so it was Federico Pagnoni who was the one who dropped, I believe, because Sergio would have been after him.
McCarthy, 30.
So Justin Hanna's still in, Danny McCarthy as well.
Give him a big round of applause.
Yeah, they deserve it.
They definitely deserve a round of applause, yep.
I don't think people understand how hard it is to get out there and then to perform like they have done so far. It's a really great accomplishment.
A good look at Kyle Douglas in his quest to try to win his third in a row. He doesn't do it. And Jacob Pettit. That look said it all. For Danny McCarthy, he broke out the binos and he was able to will that one in. But Kyle Douglas will take a seat along with Mike Schlusser, some pretty big names.
Yeah. 2 of which could have made it 3.
Yep. So Sergio Pagni is in. It was Federico Pagnoni who ended up taking a seat. So that takes us down to 11 shooters.
Give them a big round of applause.
Heading into our 4th end of competition in the championship open category. We've gone from 18 archers down to 11 as we get closer to the $50,000 prize.
Shooters to the line, good luck.
It's pretty surprising we haven't gotten down to where we're going to go to alternating arrows yet. I mean, usually when you go to that smaller X, it really thins out the shooters, but it seems not to be that tonight.
The highest qualifier remaining in this one is 15-year-old Bodie Turner from Washington. He's on the right part of your screen. Jace Boyles, Kyle Douglas, and Mike Schlusser, your 1, 2, 3 qualifiers are gone. Look at Yankee fan. Bobby Eiler. Left part of your screen is Dan McCarthy. There's Alberto Velasquez from Spain. He's had such a great tournament here in Las Vegas, his first trip.
Yeah, and I'm hearing some U-birds. Not sure which targets we're hearing, but I'm hearing a few from the crowd.
Yeah, keep in mind there's hundreds of people that are packed in here with 11 targets out there. You don't know which person's got binos on which targets, but there's definitely some ooze happening.
Yeah.
It looks like possibly Vasquez.
Yeah, that's what
there's
I'm
Bodie.
seeing.
Ooh.
This looks good, though.
Look good. A little bit of English on the back end. He's not going for the bino, so he's confident. Jesse Broadwater still in it. Uh-oh. Sometimes you can't tell with Jesse, but that particular look, I'm not sure that he liked what he saw.
Yeah, his top number 2 target looks a little right, but I can't tell with my naked eye as to where it really is.
Still on the line is Bobby Eiler. And Velasquez, let it go.
Rainey's got a high one, too.
Could this be the Vegas Shoot 2022 of young and new archers?
Turner, 30.
Bodie Turner with a 30. He sets the benchmark.
Right out of the gate.
Velasquez, 29.
So Velasquez will be our first to drop in our 4th end.
Broadwater, 29.
Oh, Jesse Broadwater is out. So his quest for another ends after 4 ends of competition.
Carter, 30.
Gaius Carter's still in it. Another young up-and-coming archer.
Eiler, 30.
Bobby Eiler, still good.
Ranning,
29.
29.
Good call, Rio.
Sometimes these old eyes aren't too bad.
Marsh, 29.
So Steve Marsh,
It's really
his
thinning
quest
out.
for the 50. Yeah, it's going now.
Just by a hair.
Capers, 30.
So Nick Capers still in the mix. This just feels like one of those tournaments. Bodie Turner and Gaius Carter, Nick Capers, all these fresh faces on the scene. They've been around, but at this level.
30.
And then there's Sergio Pagni.
Wiping his forehead.
He just keeps it rolling. Yeah, that was a close one, that right one.
Yeah.
30.
Justin Hanna quietly just staying in it.
And McCarthy, 30.
And Dan McCarthy still in it. So these 3D shooters shooting indoor, they may not have had a high X count, but for right now, they are getting it done.
Yeah, and we look how far down the top half has gone. It's now more in the middle.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So Jay Spoils, your #1 qualifier. He was out after 2 arrows. Kyle Douglas out after 3, along with Mike Schlusser. So our 4th place qualifier is Bodie Turner. He's still in the mix. But our 5th place qualifier, Alberto Blasquez, out. Jesse Broadwater out. Christopher Perkins out. Richard Bowen out. So this was the 11 shooters that stepped up to the line after our 4th end.
They're moving them all closer now, and we'll probably go to our alternating arrow, which has shown to end even more quick because it adds all kinds of different pressures.
This is crazy. I mean, how many times have you seen the top half of this field? I mean, we only have Bodie Turner left in this shoot with Gaius Carter and Bobby Eiler of the top half. And then as you roll down the leaderboard, Nick Capper still in the mix, Sergio Pagny, Justin Hanna, and Dan McCarthy.
And I think that goes to show the X count is important, but to miss an X doesn't take much, and you still make a good shot. So these guys out here, the spread between the high X count and the low X count guy is not that far.
And it's just so incredibly different when you're doing it in your local range or at your house or in your, you know, with your friends, especially when you're of this level and you're shooting with your friends locally and they all look at you as the king, and all of a sudden now here you are. And how many shooters do we have left, Rio?
It's like 7.
7 remaining in our 5th end of competition, shooting for $50,000.
And we could have a new Vegas champion. The only one up there that has one is Sergio, and he has 2.
It feels like that kind of tournament. Some fresh faces you can see. The tall one is Gaius Carter. Next to him in the red shirt was Bodie Turner. These young faces coming on. Bobby Eiler's been in the mix before. He's been around in and out of archery over the years. He's capable of winning this tournament. And then there's Hanna and McCarthy.
Well, both done a lot in the 3D side. I mean, Hannah's done well at target. I can't say anything. So is Danny. They both made this, but neither one has podiumed at this thing, or won at this thing. I think Hannah's podiumed once, but
Hanna's also gotten himself a couple $1,000s in the shoot-offs. He did it back-to-back in those 300 shoot-offs a day.
1 arrow at a time. We will again start on this side, which is to your right, with the lowest seed all the way up to the highest seed. The time clock will have your time on it. The buzzer will start you and stop you. 1 arrow at a time. Once again, it's still sudden death by end. All right? Shooters to the line.
So we'll start with Dan McCarthy.
10. Good luck.
And he'll shoot 1 arrow. That's going to go down the line for these 7 shooters. So all the pressure is on. Dan knows everyone's watching. He's been in this position before in ASA 100,000 times. But this is different. That one's a close one. 10-9 liner, because once again, what counts is
the inner X.
Justin Hanna.
9.
Looks like it's out.
That one sailed a little high on Hanna.
And again, this is going to change because they're alternating. Sergio might have an advantage in this because he shot World Archery enough, and this is one of their processes.
Sergio on the X-ring, almost inside out.
No problem for Sergio. Keep in mind, it's going to be the highest score. You got to tie to move on. So
and it's not just 1 arrow, it's all 3.
All 3.
Maybe Capers in the 10.
So Capper's nice 10, as we've seen from him the last couple of weeks. Here's Bobby Eiler.
He's got a little longer hold than most, so it's not a big deal.
How about the 10?
It's your choice which target you shoot in which order here in NFAA. Now Gaius Carter out of Arizona.
Gaius Carter with 9.
That one went out high for Gaius. And he's a little baffled. And I think he was just curious as to what that happened.
Bodie Turner 10.
Bodie Turner 10.
And that's pretty impressive going through all of them to get to the end. The pressure has got to build like tremendously, especially seeing guys miss, seeing guys hit.
And the desire just to knock your arrow up and want to shoot.
You're like the horse in the stall. Let me get out. Let me run.
Let's go. Second arrow for Dan McCarthy.
Dan looks good. Looking good.
So Justin Hanna trying to stop the bleeding.
Now this is where it's hard because you're like, I've missed one. But you got to remember, this is going to set your placing. The 29 is going to help you out a lot better than a 28. Because if your other compadres that have missed one don't miss another one, they're going to finish ahead of you. So you try to make sure and put yourself in those places.
Our first Vegas Lucky Dog winner, Sergio Pagni. Riding in on a chariot of fire one time.
Yeah.
He'll get in with the 10. In Rio, this class, it's so deep, so when a competitor's championship compound open does pay back all the way to 40th. So in terms of prize, in terms of what goes on your resume, it is important to think about your overall placing.
Oh, for sure. Plus, we're all competitors. You want to finish as high as you possibly can. So but that is one thing I have seen people do. Once they miss, they get mad, they miss more, rather than just focusing on and finishing up that end and ending it better off.
Yeah. Bob Eiler 10. Yeah, this is not, though, a winner-take-all type tournament.
No.
They do pay well. There is a steep drop-off, though, from the first prize of $50,000 to second place.
Both his arrows high. And you can see that just the anxiety after missing that one. I mean, you know you're done, and can you keep up?
So Bodie Turner still in the mix to the delight of the crowd. So I mentioned $50,000 for the win. The drop-off is $12,000 for second, $8,000 for third, $6,000 for fourth.
And to add on top of that, contingency has a pretty big drop-off on some of the other ones too, so it's a huge difference. Oh, a little longer hold there. There you go.
But that's the patience of Dan McCarthy. He's been around long enough to know he's not going to shoot a shot that he's not 100% comfortable with, and he'll use the clock to his advantage.
And he's set the bar now. He's got the 30. So we've got to have somebody else at least do it to match him.
So it looks like Justin Hanna is going to be knocked out of this one with Dan McCarthy's 30. So yeah, all these other archers that are clean, they've got to execute one more shot to stay in it. Okay, so we know we're going to go to another end.
Yeah.
At least that's going to happen. Now Nick Cappers.
Now we got 3 into there.
So Cappers will advance.
We could have 5 going into the next end if these two, if Bobby Eiler and Bodie shoot 10s.
So that would take us to 5 because we have 7. And so right now it looks like Hanna and Eiler because McCarthy's still in, Pagni is in, Cappers is in.
Gaius is out.
Gaius is out, you're right, yeah. Sorry about that, yeah.
So you can have McCarthy, Pagni, Capers, and Bodie if he gets this one.
Congratulations to Bodie. He did the right thing. He actually didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't go until the buzzer went off.
Yep. Paying attention to it.
You can see he's got plenty of time on the clock.
10.
Nailed it. The crowd loves this young archer, Bodie Turner. And because he's our highest place qualifier that remains in this, he's going to be scored first. So in terms of scoring, Bodie's going to set the benchmark for the rest of these archers.
And I think we've gone from 7 to 4.
All right, so there we go. Bodie Turner marches on with a 30.
Carter, 29.
All right, so Gaius Carter is out. on our 5th end. Good shooting for Gaius.
Eiler, 29.
Bobby Eiler takes a seat.
Good run for all of them. I
Yep,
mean, to get to this
100%.
point, I hope people understand how impressive this is.
Nick Capper's still in it.
Pawnee, 30.
Sergio Pagny, still good.
A lot better this time than last time. Last time he was wiping the sweat from his brow, and this time he's
Hannah,
feeling a little more comfortable.
29.
So Justin Hanna, he's out with a 29.
Good shooting by Justin.
McCarthy,
Yep.
30.
And Dan McCarthy, as we know, is still in it. All right, so Rio, how about this? If we look at our top 16 qualifiers that came in to the Championship Compound Open, I'm talking about shooters like Jace Boyles, Kyle Douglas, Mike Schlusser, shooting 86, 84 X's. Of the top 16 that qualified, only Bodie Turner remains. The rest of them have all fallen out.
Crazy, isn't it? Did we not talk about this? How the high X counts don't always mean.
Yep.
And sometimes that's out of pressure. Think about it. You feel like you've shot better than the others, and you walk in and do.
So those that got eliminated in this round, Gaius Carter, Bobby Eiler, and Justin Hanna all fell by the wayside. That means we're left with 4. And Rio here in end number 5, as we were down to 7. Sergio Pagny, look at his shot. And there's nothing really to analyze as we get this deep into this talent, is there, Rio? I mean, they just all do it in their unique way, and they all do it really well. Gaius Carter had a look, and he knew, but Bodie Turner is shredding right now. All 4 of these shooters shooting with extreme confidence. There's a look at 15 years old in one day. Bodie Turner out of Washington. And he stormed onto the scene in front of the general public, really. I mean, they know about him in Washington. They know about him on the West Coast. And he'd been shooting 660 rounds for the last couple of months. Then he goes into Lancaster Archery Classic and shoots 660, and it really just lit him up. People started following him. His phone started ringing. And now, just a week later, he's here in Vegas.
Yeah, I'd heard about him for a while, because in Idaho, I have friends from Washington, and they're like, yeah, this kid, you should see this kid, he can shoot. And he's been doing it for a while, so.
Rules the same thing. Please remember, this is for $50,000. All right? Here we go.
You'd think it was Bruce's personal money, don't you? He loves doing this. He loves reminding him, hey, let's put some pressure on you. All right.
Good luck.
Championship Compound Open, end number 6. 4 archers remain for $50,000. Dan McCarthy will be our first shooter. For score, X's count as 10s only. And he gets the first one. Highest score needs to be matched to move on.
Of all 3 arrows. That's the one part that, like, right now, I mean, when they've shot one, but it's... Man, it's going to be tough to separate these guys. They've all shot so good, and they're all looking really comfortable.
And the heartbreak is that you have your podium right here, but there's one that won't make it.
Yep.
Nick Capper's fans would love to see it. But right now, it just all feels like Bodie Turner. He could literally set the world on fire if he can win this one. Catches that line, no problem. Once again, the crowd erupts. Dan's shot looks really good right now.
Yeah, well, every one of them does. Let's be honest. I haven't seen one that I'm like, ooh, that's a real hiccup or a real catch. They all look very, very solid.
Sergio Pagny on one of the most unique releases in all of archery. And it works for him. The one thing you can guarantee with Sergio is, it doesn't matter if he upgrades his bow every single year, whatever he's running sight-wise, stabilizer-wise, he just keeps running it because it works for him.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Target's still 40 meters, and it's still 20 yards downrange.
Yeah.
Turner keeps it going.
Well, everybody's still in.
Everyone is still in.
Everyone has shot good arrows, and they're all still solid.
Yeah, we could be here till Thursday. The quality of shooters we have right now.
Oh, there's your 30 to start it off. A little more movement on that last arrow, but it's still solid.
It seemed like a little longer hold for Sergio than normal. Nick Cappers.
Solid quick shot.
Yep.
3 good solid arrows.
Everyone's clean after end number 6. The other thing I want to note about Bodie Turner is, you know, there is the youth compound male that he could have gone in and probably dominated.
Yeah.
But the fact that he decided to go in to compound open straight away shows the nerve that this 15-year-old has. So 30 for Bodie.
We're still at 4.
We're still at 4. Going to end number 7. This is just all confirmation of what we've seen. I don't think there was really a close arrow in the mix.
No.
30.
Just incredible, though. Our 22nd place qualifier, Dan McCarthy, still in it. Our 19th place qualifier, Sergio Pagni, still in it. Our 17th place qualifier, Nick Cappers, in the mix. And our 4th place, Bodie Turner. I would probably guess they're going to ask him to change target faces again, maybe?
Do they have 1 arrow hole or do they have 2? Usually they'll do it on a 3rd arrow. If there's only 1 in there, they'll let them keep it.
And it is up to the judge's discretion. It's
100%. But to give you an idea how hard this is going to be end number
7.
So they have shot more than half of a Vegas round clean on X's for $50,000.
Wow. Great shots of the top archers in the world getting after it here in the largest archery tournament in the world. Over 3,000 archers showed up to compete with family and friends. 8,000 people were here during the course of this weekend, and we have a couple thousand sitting in the stands watching this. Because, Rio, there's so many people that do shoot. The appreciation for what these 4 are doing is incredible.
Archers to the line. Good luck.
To end number 7, we still haven't decided even the podium here at Las Vegas. Shoot, Dan McCarthy, Sergio Pagni, Nick Cappers, and Bodie Turner still in it for $50,000.
I have a funny story to tell you.
Go ahead.
Danny's got some fuzz on the top of his riser. And the other day we were shooting, I shot by him during the first 2 days, and he's like, it's good to rub, it calms you down.
The fuzz? Oh, yeah, right there.
See it?
Right in the back. No kidding.
He's like, just as good to rub and calm down. I said, well, that's funny. That's a new trick that I've never seen before. And if he goes on to win it, there'll be a lot of fuzz on some bows, I can tell you that.
Waiting for the buzzer. There we go.
What's going on?
So it looks like Dan McCarthy dropped an arrow.
Oh, Sergio's got an arrow halfway down.
He does. So Sergio Pagni has an arrow on the floor. It's gone past the line. So for Sergio, that's a 0.
That's 100% 0. Because as you can see, there's a yellow line in front of them. If an arrow passes there, it's considered a shot arrow. What a way to be eliminated.
Wow. Also for the people standing right next to him to have to refocus.
Yeah.
So Sergio Pagni actually chooses to step off the line. At this point, I kind of don't blame him.
Yeah, but it's still hard.
Yeah, it is.
10.
Okay, so now we're down to 3. So for Dan McCarthy, that one was a 10. His first arrow.
It's close.
It's close. It's a questionable call.
So they're going to let the time run as if Sergio was shooting. Man, what a heartbreak. What a heartbreak.
There's the arrow. I would say, what, Rio? Maybe a third of the way, a quarter of the way down. Obviously, a cheer from the crowd. Most of these archers have been where Sergio is, not for $50,000, but they've been there. So heartbreak for the Italian. Now we're back.
It's got to be hard for Capers to do this. I mean, like, literally, like, just that whole thing. But he did it, solid. Take a deep breath, because you just are Capers. It really is something.
Boom goes Bodie.
So Bodie Turner.
He's putting a lot in the middle. A lot in the middle.
He just looks so calm.
Yeah.
So now we know what our podium looks like. It's between Dan McCarthy, Nick Capers, and Bodie Turner.
Now it's going to be to that arrow call.
Yep.
Now they're going to let the time run again for Sergio.
Yeah. They have to,
and
because
Nick's like going, am I shooting, am I not? And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a hard part. Like, to me, almost Sergio should have almost tried to do it just to keep it. They reset it and started it for him.
Yeah. Sergio did have the option to step back on the line and shoot. That's 100%. Why they have to go through the process.
I think it's there.
I think so too. I think for Nick Capers, he's in the most difficult position, and I don't think that was Sergio's intent at all.
No, no.
Bodie, no problem.
Well, you got 2 arrow calls now, or Bodie could be your champion.
Could it be end number 7? Or we have a new champ? So Bodie Turner sets the benchmark. Don't think there's anything in question there. It's a solid 30.
Solid 30.
Turner, 30.
Confirmation. Now it all depends on this arrow call for Capers. Did it drop low? And if it's a 29, that's the arrow in question. This could be it. Bodie Turner at 15 years old could be your compound open champion, but we just don't know just yet. That's getting a close look. Maximum diameter arrows, 27s. You got 30.
Yep. So we still got a game.
Yeah. So Nick Capers still in the mix. Now another arrow call for Dan McCarthy.
And it looks like it could be there. The way the arrow hole kicked, it's going to be a tough one to call.
I guarantee you they're going to change faces after this one.
Well, I guarantee it. I can agree with you 100% on that. The anguish that Danny's got to be going through, it's just so hard when it's your turn to get the arrow called and you're like, what are they saying? What are they doing?
Yeah, at least Sergio, when he walked to the target and picked up his arrow that was laying on the ground, he knew it.
Give a big round of applause.
Yeah, it looks like Dan McCarthy. That arrow dropped low, so Dan will be in 3rd place. A good run for Dan McCarthy. He'll still stand on the podium.
Yep.
And look what we have going on here.
2 young guns going at it. Both on the podium last weekend at Lancaster, and now they're making a run at the Vegas title.
And we will be shooting for the champion here between Bodie Turner and Nick Capers.
Astonishing run, Dan McCarthy with that low arrow. As Sergio Pagni, you can see Dan McCarthy and Sergio, you can see the arrow sitting on the ground. So McCarthy, that first arrow, he looked through the binos, wasn't happy with it, then disaster for him. But for Bodie Turner and Nick Capers, they continue to pound out these X's. So Dan McCarthy will be credited for 3rd. Sergio Pagni will fall out of this one. So after end number 7 and the exit of Sergio Pagni with an error and an arrow past the 3-meter line, counting as 0 points, and Dan McCarthy dropping 1 low arrow for 29. It comes down to Bodie Turner and Nick Cappers. Washington versus Minnesota for $50,000.
For your excellent show of sportsmanship and precision. Congratulations on placement here in Vegas.
All right, gentlemen. Once again, $50,000 on the line here. How many times have you shot Vegas?
My second time.
How about you, young man?
Third time.
You know, I'm not supposed to ask you your age, but I can tell you right now, this young man is half the age of this young man. And we're going to have some fun here, aren't we? Are you guys excited about this?
Oh, yeah.
You want to take a break?
No.
How about you? You want to, no breaks? Restroom, anything?
I'm good. Yeah? Yeah.
All right, here we go. Same rules. Archers to the line. Good luck.
Championship Compound Open and number 8 for $50,000. We are down to just 2 archers, Nick Cappers and Bodie Turner.
And we will have a new Vegas champion. Neither one of these two have ever won it, so it will be a new one.
10.
And between these 2 archers, this is Nick Cappers' second time to Vegas and Bodie's third.
10.
Oof.
His last end was pretty amazing. There wasn't even a question on it.
10.
Nick Cappers has had quite a pressure-filled 9 days in his life.
Yeah, for sure. Make a good payday back-to-back if he wins this one, too.
Certainly would.
10.
Oh, did not love that one, but the
No.
landing, not your favorite takeoff, but good landing.
That's what happens when you have what we call a forgiving setup.
Yeah. No, he didn't like that one.
He launched that one early. That could be it. This is it. This is the arrow for $50,000. Can a 15-year-old win this one? A 10? Looks like it could take it all.
Oh, he did.
He got a little enthusiastic, did Bodie Turner. Don't blame him.
Yeah.
Look how clean that target looks. It all comes down to this arrow call. Second place goes to Nick Cappers from Minnesota. That means the 2022 Vegas champion out of Washington, 15-year-old Bodie Turner. Did you think you'd see it real wild?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard how good he shot forever, and then seeing how he shot at Lancaster, and to do that, I mean, and he's got a great head on him. Me and him were talking. His dad, that's also a special moment.
His dad's a coach as well. Obviously, those techniques are working.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we got a chance to talk before Vegas, and he said, it's pretty amazing to watch what guys have done. I said, you're a pretty good shot. You shot a 660. I mean.
See that red number? Let's see what it says here. My goodness, it's not even going to measure it so high. Bodie, yours is like 40. And what's mine say? 91. And you know what? I'm on a beta blocker because I have to be on one. I don't know about you, but give her hell, man.
Not Bodie Turner. And our chance to talk to Bodie. Well, we get to do it again. Bodie Turner, congratulations. You are the 2022 Vegas champ.
Thank you.
Tell us about your round, Bodie.
Yeah, that was the round, qualification rounds were They were good. They were definitely tough. First and second day really sucked. The last day was a little bit easier, but that one still, it was really rough. Shoot-offs were good. Shots felt good warming up. We got a long time to warm up, so that was nice. But yeah, got out here, shot some good shots, and ended up being the last one, so worked out.
It certainly did work out for you. And Bodie, for those that don't know, how old are you?
Just turned 15 yesterday.
Happy birthday, Bodie. And how about you earned a birthday present for yourself of $50,000?
Yeah, that's a pretty good birthday present.
What are you going to buy with that, Bodie?
Probably not a lot. Probably just invest most of it.
All right, that sounds good. Well, listen, when you get here next year, your banner's going to be hanging up as 2022 Vegas champion. Congratulations to 15-year-old Bodie Turner from Washington. He got it done. Well, Rio, have you ever heard a crowd explode as much as they have for this young man?
Well, and let's look at tonight, the history. You know, with Lico winning hers, 14 years old,
Yes.
doing it at 15. Pretty impressive evening to watch. Not many people are going to be able to say they'd be able to see that again in history, unless they repeat next year and it'll be different. But all honesty, that is a pretty amazing evening we've got to be a part of.
Another look at 15-year-old Bodie Turner and what he was able to accomplish. For Nick Cappers, he's going to be thinking about this one for a long time. But for Bodie Turner, he stays calm, cool, and collected, and at the end of the day gets it done. And Rio, if you take our women's championship winner and our open winner and combine their age, they're not even 30 years old. Let's go down to some interviews.
Here at the Vegas shoot. How are you feeling?
Yeah, thank you. It was a really fun shoot. I come every year, so my third year here, first year shooting pro, and yeah, it's just an awesome shoot.
You needed a 10 with that last arrow. What was crossing through your mind in that moment?
Sorry, I can't really hear you.
You needed a 10 to win.
Yeah.
What was crossing through your mind in that moment?
I just knew all I could do was keep my release move, and I was shaking like crazy on that, but shot a good shot and made it in there.
How do you manage to stay so calm through the whole shoot down and win it?
Well, my dad shot IQ, so I know how to at least shoot under a lot of pressure, and I've been taught that since I was very young. So yeah, I've just a lot of years of training for it, and it finally paid off.
First Vegas win, how many will we see from you in the future?
I just can't hear you.
First Vegas win, how many will we see from you in the future?
I'd like to win it some more in the future. It's good first year for me, but yeah, I'm definitely happy with it.
Congratulations and enjoy.
Thank you.
So once again, Bodie Turner at 15 years old. Well, Rio, let's see, at your age, still shooting here and still competing at a high level. Bodie Turner's got a lot of archery ahead of him. But you're right, Rio. I mean, to look at the young talent that we have right now in the United States in Lico Ariola and, of course, Bodie Turner, it is as bright as that light, the future for United States archery. Well, that'll do it for us from Las Vegas. The Vegas Shoot 2022 is done and dusted. Congratulations to all of our champions on the amateur level and at the championship level as well. For all of our crew, for Rio Wild, I'm Greg White. Thanks so much for joining us. We can't wait to see you next year from the Vegas Shoot 2023. Go through the process.